Video is going to be all about what Ripple posts on Twitter. I'm going to read all of their news in April. Let's do this now. This is my first try at it. Please hit like and let me know in the comments if you want me to make more movies like this one. So today, Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO, said that the SEC will give up its case against Ripple. Wow, we're shocked to hear this. This is the piece. The victory today is a big one for Ripple, our employees, our customers, and the whole crypto business. After more than 4 years of court cases, the SEC will drop its appeal against Ripple. This will end the SEC's 4-year action. There needs to be a committee, a vote, and approval for this. The next movie shows Ripple back at the House and his point of view at that time. A little more than 4 years ago, the US SEC sued Ripple. As many of you should know, I'm finally able to say that this case is over. It's over. As I sit here and think back on 4 years ago, it's very clear to me that this case was doomed from the start. It was the first big shot in the war on crypto in a lot of ways. I was sure at that point that Ripple was not only following the law, but also going to be shown to be following the right path in history. Really think sends a bad message for new ideas in the US related to Bitcoin. From time to time, the US government has not been in the business of picking winners. I believe the judge knows this has nothing to do with Ripple only. This will have effects on more than one thing. As Mary Jo White, who used to be head of the SEC, has said in public, this is a disaster and the SEC made the wrong choice, but Ripple is the first company with the money, willpower, and guts to stand up to the government's abuse. And today is the last day of this trip. Today is a win, and the SEC has finally given up. Chief Executive Officer Gary Gensler led the SEC in its attack on the whole business, making the same points they did against us. They were not trying to keep clients safe. They wanted to scare people. The regulator, whose main job is to protect investors, lost $15 billion, 0 cents in value from people who were holding on to XRP without knowing what was going on. The SEC messed with the market. The SEC wasn't looking for justice. They were ready to pay anything to win the case. There were parts of our government that agreed with the SEC and started a campaign to debank anyone who worked in the crypto business. We were at war with the law, or lawfare. That's why banks are so careful when it comes to crypto, right? Because they were basically shutting down banks if it had to do with crypto, going in and out of banks or coming in and taking crypto out. Some banks had to close because of that. This really does exist. Brad was kicked out of Citibank, right? At this time. It was just that it wasn't handled very well. It seemed like a full-on war on the business world. I think it was because they didn't understand the technology well enough or read enough about what was going on in other countries, right? Is this technology already being used in other countries? Are there other countries in front of us? What's wrong with us that we don't want what the other world wants? Okay. We always say it's an American, right? We always say we have the best of everything, right? We say that even though we don't have the best of everything. We need to get our act together in the crypto market if we want the best of everything. That's what I think is going on right now. Okay, as much as I know things are going crazy and your 401k or other retirement plan is down a lot, but markets always come back. Okay, from what we know about the past, the market goes down and back up again. People are still interested. We can move forward once we know what's going on with the tariffs. Luckily, the judge scolded the SEC more than once along the way. First, because it doesn't have a, quote, loyalty to the law. The SEC got in trouble for discovery abuses in our case, and this happened in other crypto cases too. Well, let's say they want to make you confused. That's when we proved that XRP is not a security by winning every important law point. That is now the law. And these wins have made it possible for lawmakers to make crypto rules that are in line with securities laws that have been around for almost 100 years. The news today shows that those who tried to get our government to fight a technology and an entire business have lost. I'm glad that we paved the way for other people in the business to see the value and not back down, and for other people to fight back with our legal tactics. We are now ending a part of the past of crypto. I believe we are all stronger because of the previous court victories and today's important win. You should fight for progress. Okay. If you want to read the whole thing, I'll put a link to it below. I just want the video to go on. To build trust in stable coins, they should first be tested in real-world banking. The standards are now being set by RLUSD. RLUSD runs business payments, assets, tokenized, and DeFi. It is used for Ripple's payment system. Other banks will be able to use that to start their own stablecoins on the XRP system. Okay, so I'm not sure how many banks will fail or how fast this will happen, but I think this makes sense, right? And I thought you have a huge majority of backing from the US Treasury saying that stablecoins are the future for the US dollar, right? No changes will be made to the US dollar as long as it is the world's reserve currency. and these stable coins are do something, the FDIC, the OCC, and all the other officials telling you, hey, it's okay now, you can do this. That would be great. If someone has the best blockchain technology for their bank, banks will go to that person, not Ripple, right? Very important. Made a video about why banks would use Ripple instead of doing it themselves. And you're talking about a really bad setup, right? You need to plan what you want to build, right? On what network do you need to hire a group to set it up, test it, and make sure it works? It could take 6, 12, or even 18 months, and then you'll have a product that no one knows about. But Ripple keeps its own ledgers secret. You will be able to use your own safe coin on the XRP ledger through Ripple's network, I'm sure. And if you want to send money to another bank, you can say that you can send it almost instantly if that bank is part of the Ripple network. So cool stuff. I think a lot of banks will want to do this because, let's face it, banks don't want to hire a whole section of people to run a cryptocurrency. There's too much risk. It has a lot of rules and licenses that need to be followed. This will cause the bank CEOs and other important people a lot of trouble, right? They don't wish to handle everything. Risk is what they do all the time. They de-risk, de-risk, de-risk. Using Ripple and XRP is how they can lower the risk. Okay, you know that Kraken now has Ripple RLUSD, right? What did I tell you? USDT isn't allowed to do business in the EU or any of its 27 member countries, and soon the US because they can't show a report to prove they have the money. To go with all of these other assets, you will need another safe coin. That might be RLUSD. That might help provide cash. Okay, this was written by Jack McDonald. As stated, RLUSD is now part of Ripple Payments. Our cross-border payment service works with more than 90 payout markets and connects you right away to banks. You should be able to use it right away to find institutions, payment service providers, markets, and many more around the world, right? The person who said that is Jack McDonald. Okay, let me show you this. Did I spell his name wrong? His name used to be Jack McDonald. Listen up, Jack. Jack McDonald, Ripple. Okay, here you go. I'll show you something. Ripple, CEO of PolySign and a board member, but before that, this man, right? He's the managing director of UBS, CEO and president of the Confer Group and Confer Financial Systems. For example, Jack McDonald is a big deal. Okay, what else do we have? Ripple Impact Pilot RLSD to help Kenya with its drought. That's really cool. Ripple is backing a pilot project with Mercy Corp's Ventures and Diva Donate. The project will use blockchain technology to send money in the form of Ripple USD to people who need it. It is backed by Stability Trust and Compliance, and it helps Kenyan pastoral villages that are suffering from drought. This pilot shows how blockchain and stablecoin technology can improve systems so they are more open, efficient, and quick. This can help with delivery and insurance.